32 teams are competing in the Club World Cup, but how did each team actually get their ticket there? For example, why is Salzburg there and not Barcelona? Why is Benfica but not Liverpool? In this video, we'll go through each continent, showing exactly how every club qualified. Starting with the continent with the fewest representatives, Oceania, which only has one team, Auckland City from New Zealand. Auckland City is wild, cause these guys are a semi-amateur team. Look at their stadium. But they got to the Club World Cup cause their Oceania rivals are even weaker. Since 2006, clubs from Australia no longer play for Oceania. So in the OFC Champions League, Auckland faced teams from the Pacific Islands, clubs from Tahiti, Fiji, etc. So Auckland literally dominated the tournament, winning the last 4 titles in a row. Now leaving Oceania, let's head to the continent where Australian clubs do play. Asia, which unlike Oceania, has 4 teams in the World Cup. The first to qualify was the continent's biggest club, Al Hilal. Before Saudi football got flooded with stars, Al Hilal won the Asian Champions League in 2021, securing their spot in the Club World Cup. Then Asia's championship had a calendar change, jumping straight from 2021 to 2023, where Al Hilal almost won the title again, but lost the final to the next team on the list, Urawa Red Diamonds from Japan, which also happens to be the Japanese club with the most continental titles. Then to earn a direct spot as continental champions, there was one more spot, which ended up going to a team from the Emirates, Al Ain. In 2024, they advanced in the Asian Champions League, knocking out Ronaldo's Al Nassr, Al Hilal and Yokohama Marinos in the final. So 3 Asian teams were already confirmed, but one spot was still open. So what did the Asian Confederation do? Create a ranking. They took the last seasons of the Asian Champions League to make a table of the best performing teams that hadn't won the title. And that's how the last Asian spot was filled by Ulsan from South Korea. They were Asian champions in 2020, before the qualification period started. But not only that, they also reached the semi-finals in 2021 and 2024, earning their spot on merit. But from all clubs, Ulsan has the second lowest market value. Their entire squad is worth just 15 million euros, only ahead of Auckland City. Now let's leave Asia, heading to another continent with 4 representatives, Africa. And the first African team to qualify was one that couldn't miss this Club World Cup, Al Ahly. They are simply the biggest club on the continent in terms of titles and support. To give you an idea, they have 40 million fans. It's similar to the size of the population of Canada. And their spot was secured when they won the African Champions League in 2021, defeating Kaizer Chiefs 3-0. They are so dominant that in the following year, they reached the final again. In 2022, they were about to win the title another time, but against Morocco's Wydad, they lost. The Moroccans claimed the trophy, so 2 spots were set. The next 2, of course, would go to the continental champions of 2023 and 2024. But then Al Ahly won both titles. So what now? Well, you know that ranking they did in Asia, the same thing was done in Africa. They took the previous 4 seasons to make a ranking of the best teams overall. And that's how the spot went to a team that reached the semi-finals twice and the final in 2024. Esperance from Tunisia, a team that's 4-time African champion. But there was still 1 spot left, so they also picked the best second team from their ranking, Mamelodi Sundowns. It's like Brazil in the World Cup. Their kit has the exact same colors as the Brazilian national team. Over the last 4 years, they've been consistent. Quarterfinals in 2021, 2022, and semi-finals in 2023 and 2024, earning their spot in the Club World Cup. Now leaving Africa, let's go to the continent with the most representatives, Europe. Out of the 32 clubs, 12 are European. And just like in the other continents, the Champions League winners got a direct spot. So the first team to secure their spot was Chelsea, who won the title in 2021 after a surprising underdog campaign, defeating Atletico Madrid, Porto, Real Madrid, and in the final, Man City. Then in the following year, Chelsea went all in again, but they were stopped in the quarterfinals by the eventual champions Real Madrid, with an absolute crazy campaign, defeating PSG, Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. Football's biggest international champion got their spot. Now, if City were eliminated by Madrid, in the next season they didn't live up. They crushed Leipzig, beat Bayern 4-1 on aggregate, thrashed Real Madrid to get their revenge, and in the final against Inter Milan, a goal from Rodri was enough to seal the victory. City proved that they were the best team in all of Europe, winning their spot in the Club World Cup. So the next club to get a ticket to the US was gonna be the 2024 Champions League winner. But Real Madrid won again. And no, they didn't invite the runners-up Borussia Dortmund. So there were still 9 European spots left. But before we see how those 9 spots were filled out, let's quickly leave Europe to go to the continent with the second most teams in the tournament. South America. South America didn't get 4, but 6 spots. So the first South American team to secure their spot in the Club World Cup was Palmeiras, who won the 2021 Libertadores over Flamengo. Then after Flamengo lost in 2021, they went all in to redeem themselves, winning every match at the Libertadores knockout stage to win the title and get the ticket. Brazil was dominating, but it continued. In 2023, Marcelo's Fluminense won the title, and in 2024, another Brazilian club, Botafogo, secured the trophy. With 4 consecutive titles, Brazil got 4 direct spots in the World Cup, setting the record as the country with the most representatives. But there were still 2 spots left for South America. So what did they do? A ranking as well. They took the last 4 Libertadores seasons to see which teams had the best consistency. As expected, Flamengo and Palmeiras were leading the ranking, but behind them was Atlético Mineiro, a team that reached the final in 2024. But unfortunately for them, since there already were 4 Brazilian teams qualified, no more Brazilians could be added. So the spot went to the team below them, River Plate. River Plate didn't win the Libertadores, but over the last 4 seasons, they had 1 quarterfinals, 2 round of 16 appearances, and 1 semifinal. Now there was 1 more spot to be decided, and the next team in the ranking was Fluminense. But well, they were already qualified, so the spot went to the next team, Argentina's Boca Juniors. The 2023 finalists are also the second most successful club on the continent, having 6 Libertadores titles. So before we see how the other Europeans got their spots, let's head to the continent where everything is happening, North America. And the first team to secure a spot there was the 2021 North America champion, Monterrey. Monterrey isn't the biggest champion in Mexico, but that year they won their 5th continental title. With Monterrey, the title went to a Mexican club for the 16th time in a row. The CONCACAF Championship was literally dominated. So everyone expected the next spot to go to another Mexican club. But this time, a team from another country ended that. After eliminating Mexico's Leon and New York City, this team reached the continental final. Seattle Sounders to face Mexico's Pumas. A Mexican team could still win, but after a draw in the first leg, in the second leg at Lumen Field, Seattle Sounders smashed them 3-0, winning the Continental Championship for the first time and securing their spot in the Club World Cup. So the other teams from the United States gained confidence, so much so that in the following year, 2023, another US team made it to the final, Los Angeles FC, against the Mexican Leon. But this time it ended 3-1 to Leon, who got the spot for the Club World Cup. But Leon's celebrations wouldn't last long. Now 1 more spot for CONCACAF was left to be decided. So in 2024, 2 teams came to compete for it, Pachuca versus Columbus Crew. But again, the Mexicans left no chance, 3-0. Now the CONCACAF qualifiers were set, but there was still 1 spot left. Since the World Cup is taking place in the United States, they needed a team to represent the host country, even though Seattle Sounders was already there. So in FIFA's tournaments, they always invite the national champion of the host country, so the 2024 MLS season would be decisive. And Inter Miami with Messi, Suarez and Busquets made history. In 34 games, they secured 22 wins, reaching 74 points. So FIFA invited them to the Club World Cup. But in the United States, the tournament is not a simple round-robin format. That's just the first part of the tournament. After that, the top teams go into a playoff, which Inter Miami lost. The official 2024 champion, who went all the way to the final to win the title, was LA Galaxy. So a lot of people complained. Even so, the spots were set. But then a big problem came up. The Club World Cup has a rule that 2 teams with the same owner can't compete. And the thing is, Pachuca and Leon are owned by the same guy. So what did FIFA have to do? Literally exclude one of the 2 from the competition, which ended up being Leon, opening a new spot. So since Leon was the 2023 champion, FIFA went back to that tournament and picked 2 teams that went well to play for a direct spot. Mexico's Club America against LAFC. Yeah, LAFC could get a chance to go to the tournament, but they'd have to get past the giant America, who didn't make it easy. After a goal from America, LA equalized in the 89th minute, and in extra time they scored the winning goal. By 2-1, LAFC secured their spot. Now we've seen how 23 clubs got their spots, but we are missing 9 from Europe. If they weren't continental champions, how did they end up there? Throughout this video, we've seen their ranking of the best teams, and for UEFA it was no different. They took the 4 seasons from 2020-21 to 2023-24 to create a ranking of the best teams. So as expected, the leaders were Man City and Real Madrid, who were already qualified. But the third club in this ranking was a team that hadn't won a title, Bayern Munich. Bayern reached the quarterfinals 3 years in a row in the semi-finals in 2024. So with a super solid campaign, they earned their spot. Then right below Bayern was PSG. Yeah, the Champions League title they won didn't count for this Club World Cup, but for the next one. Even so, they had a good consistency. 2 round of 16 appearances and 2 semi-finals, giving Paris their spot. Then the next team below Paris was Chelsea, but they were already qualified. So the next to qualify through the ranking was Borussia Dortmund, becoming the second German team to secure their spot. And the next team was also one that didn't win the title but reached the final, Inter Milan. But now there's a catch, cause the next team in the ranking was Liverpool, who also reached the final in 2022. So in theory, they would have earned a spot too. But there's a problem. There was a rule that if a country already had 2 teams, a third couldn't qualify through the ranking. England already had 2 teams, Chelsea and City. So Liverpool could only qualify if they were Champions League winners. But it wasn't just Liverpool who got left out because of this rule. So the Reds were skipped, so their spot went to the next club, Porto from Portugal, followed by Atletico Madrid, 2 teams that always compete in the Champions League, and in recent years have also reached the quarterfinals. Then after Atletico, the next club in the ranking was Leipzig, but since Bayern and Dortmund were already qualified, they also couldn't go. Then after Leipzig, the next in line was FC Barcelona. But since Madrid and Atletico were already in, they too had the bad luck of being left out. So the spot went to the next team, Benfica, who reached 2 consecutive quarterfinals. And so far, only 1 Italian team was qualified, so there was room for another, going to the next in the ranking, Juventus. Now after 31 teams, there was only 1 spot left, but it couldn't be an Italian team. So the next in line, Napoli, was ruled out. Then Sevilla from Spain and Milan were also ruled out. So with all that, the next spot had to go to a team from Austria, RB Salzburg. In UEFA's ranking, Salzburg was in 18th place. In those 4 Champions League seasons, they advanced past the group stage just once. But Austria had no representatives, so they ended up getting in. Well, that's lucky. So what did you think of this video? If you enjoyed it, I think you're gonna like this one too. Thanks for watching and bye!